Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big topics by looking at the sources behind the story. Today, we are digging into the music industry because something has fundamentally changed, and it's got a lot of people asking one big question.
Yeah, let's get right into it. If you've been feeling like you're waiting for the next grunge or the next punk rock to just come along and completely flip the culture upside down, well, you're not alone. And to understand why that's not really happening, we have to see how the whole game of making, finding, and even defining what a hit is has been totally rewritten.
So, to figure out what's going on now, we actually have to take a step back. We need to understand the world we left behind, an era that people called the monoculture. You know, a time when it felt like pretty much everyone was listening to the same songs, watching the same shows, and just on the same page.
And that feeling you have, that everything is just splintered into a million little pieces, it's absolutely real. It's not just in your head. It is the direct result of a massive power shift in the music industry, which, for a very long time, was run by a very, very small group of very powerful people. See, before the internet really took hold, the music world wasn't this open, free-for-all space. Nope. It was more like an empire. And it was ruled by just a handful of major record labels that acted as these incredibly powerful and sometimes pretty ruthless gatekeepers.
I mean, think about it. If you were an artist, getting a record deal was basically the only way to make it big. These companies decided who got a shot and who didn't. They literally controlled what got played on the radio, which meant they were basically designing the soundtrack for our entire culture. And this quote, wow, it just perfectly sums up how lopsided and frankly, how exploitative those old school record deals could be. Artists would often sign away the rights to their own music, sometimes forever, even long after the label had made its money back and then some. And then, as CD sales started to drop, the labels got even more creative with their contracts. Enter the 360 deal. Suddenly, they weren't just taking a piece of your album sales. Oh no, they wanted a cut of your tours, your t-shirt sales, your commercials, a piece of absolutely everything. It was all about squeezing every last cent out of an artist's career. And here's the crazy part. This system was just incredibly high risk for the artist. I mean, even a global megastar like Mariah Carey could find herself millions of dollars in debt to her own label if an album didn't sell as much as they'd hoped. Now imagine you're a new artist. One flop could literally end your entire career.
But that whole system, this top-down world built on control and gatekeeping, it was about to get completely and totally demolished by technology. The dam was about to break. And man, when it broke fast. In just over a decade, we went from Napster making music free, which sent the labels into a total panic, to iTunes creating a legal way to buy digital music. And then, the real shocker. Artists started proving they didn't even need the old system at all.
And this is the perfect example of a new playbook. I mean, the story's just wild. Guy goes from recording an album in his parents' barn to having a #1 hit all over the globe, all without a major label pushing him. It was powered entirely by the internet, by people sharing it directly with each other. It was a game changer. So, with those old gatekeepers starting to lose their grip, a totally new and, let's be honest, way more chaotic set of rules for what it takes to get famous in music started to emerge. The monoculture was officially over.
Here's the thing. The internet didn't just replace the old mainstream with a new one. Instead, it shattered it into millions of tiny little mainstreams. Your Spotify feed and your YouTube recommendations create a personalized music world just for you. So what feels like a massive cultural moment to you, your friend might have never even heard of it. And that makes a single unifying revolution really, really hard to start. And this breakdown really just lays it all out. The whole playbook has been flipped. It's not about getting discovered by some executive anymore. Now it's about building your own community online, trying to get a 15-second clip of your song to go viral on TikTok, and then fighting to get onto a huge Spotify playlist, which is basically the new radio. The power has definitely shifted, but you could argue the game is even more complex now.
So that raises a huge question. If there's no single mainstream, how on earth has anything become a massive, unavoidable, culture-consuming hit today? Well, let's look at a perfect and very recent example of how it's done. To cut through all that noise, all those millions of little niches, a modern hit can't just be a song anymore. It has to be an event. It has to feel like it is everywhere, all at once. And the soundtrack for the Barbie movie, it was an absolute masterclass in this exact strategy. This was so much more than just an album release. It was a full-on marketing invasion. You had the star-studded lineup, of course, but then you had 8
different versions of the vinyl for collectors. You had exclusive parties for influencers. They strategically dropped clips like "I'm Just Ken" to go viral. Every single piece was designed to dominate the conversation on every platform imaginable. And did it work? Oh yeah, it worked. Big time. The album shot to the top of the charts all around the world, spawning multiple hits and even snagging a Grammy. This is what it takes to create a piece of shared culture, even a temporary one, in today's world. I think this quote from a Reddit discussion just nails our current moment perfectly. There are thousands of little revolutions happening all the time online, in scenes from hyperpop to Afrobeats. But because the audience is so fractured, so spread out, these movements almost never break out and shake the entire culture the way they used to. Which kind of leaves us with one last big, tricky question to think about. We broke free from the old gatekeepers, the big corporations. But in doing so, have we just handed over the keys to a new set of gatekeepers? Ones we can't even see. The algorithms that decide what we hear next. So in this new world of supposedly infinite choice, are we actually in control? Or are we just following a new set of instructions written in code?